As we've been discussing, September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and we're taking this time to stop the music on Radio Now 100.9 and start a conversation about mental health and suicide prevention. It's Jules. Today I'm joined by a few guests. We have with us Emily Matheny. Hey, Emily, can you tell us about your show on Sundays?
Yes, so I am the host for Indies Connection here on Radio Now 100.9. My shows are Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. and then you can find them on radionowindy.com for all of my past shows and other fun resources.
Yes, and then we are also joined by Tammy Lundy, who is the Indiana Chapter Chair and Indianapolis Walk Chair for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tammy. How are you?
I'm doing great today. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. You know, this is such an important discussion to have. And, you know, the conversation can be hard to talk about. And something that I think will help ease people into talking about suicide prevention is talking about the importance of word usage and proper language and why that's so important when discussing this topic. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the shifts that we're really working really hard to make in the way that we talk about suicide is actually just changing some of the wording that we're using. A lot of people will say committed suicide, and there's nothing wrong with it if you've said that. Before I lost my daughter, that was my terminology. But what we'd like to do, because that does help perpetuate the stigma and it causes some moral judgment, it's much better to say things like killed themselves rather than saying committed, because that sounds like a deliberate act. And 90% of the people who die by suicide normally have an underlying proven mental illness or condition. And it's not a conscious thought. And that's one of the things why, you know, you can use other terminology. Just staying away from the words committed suicide, died by suicide, killed themselves, it's just a better phrasing and it's less judgmental.
Mm-hmm. And what are some other things we should do when we're talking with someone and trying to, I don't want to say destroy the stigma, but push past stigmatized language we're so used to hearing?
Saying it's okay to talk about mental health. Saying it's okay not to feel okay. Saying it's okay that you're struggling. Making mental health more of a normalized conversation. A lot of people, they will hide it or they feel uncomfortable talking about it. You know, it's really easy to identify somebody who might have a broken arm, and it's very visible. You can see that it's broken. But somebody who might be suffering from a mental health condition, it's not visible. You know, a lot of people like to use words like drama queen or, you know, minimize people's feelings. Mm-hmm. And people get scared to talk about it. So making that a more normalized conversation so that if you're having a bad day or if you're struggling with your mental health that day, that as a community, we can talk to each other.
Yeah. And, you know, you mentioned that it can be an extremely uncomfortable conversation to have. And knowing how to talk about it in that proper word usage definitely helps get that ball rolling. And I heard about this program called Seize the Awkward. Can you tell us about that and why that is so important?
Yeah, and it's directly along the conversation that we're having. It is directed more at our teenager and our teenage youth, but it's for everybody, really. It's actually something that AFSP went ahead and we partnered with the Ad Council and the Jed Foundation, and we have gotten some of the larger social media stars to participate in it. And what it does is it just gives everybody guidance of how to use that awkward silence to ask how somebody's doing. So, you know, if you're sitting there talking with your friend and you might have been worried about them, maybe they're acting a little bit differently, they're more quiet, a little bit more reserved, they seem to be sleeping a lot, just doing things that are out of character for them, or they seem very sad. It shows and makes it a more normalized conversation to use that awkward pause just to ask them how they're doing. Ask them if they're okay, or, say you seem frustrated today. I'm here for you. Would you like to talk about anything? And it's a very great campaign, and the campaign is very well done. And anybody who would like to see it can go to seizetheawkward.org, and I encourage everyone to do so. And if you have children, or if you interact with youth in any way, please make sure to give that to them.
Excellent. Along the lines of some resources, I've heard, and I feel like we've all heard about the resource 988. For someone who's not familiar, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, 988 is a new number that's going to be designated in July of 2022. So if you're having a heart attack, or if you're having a medical emergency, you automatically know to dial 911 to get help. And what 988 is it's a number that's designed to help you, that's specifically for mental health emergencies. We just got the law passed last year. We got the bill passed last year, and we've been working on bringing up the number. If you are feeling overwhelmed, or if you are suicidal, if you need help with somebody that you're concerned about, you'll be able to contact this number, and it's going to connect you with the appropriate resources to help you with that mental health emergency that you're having, or that somebody else might be having, as well as they should be able to direct you to resources in your area.
And is 988 going to be accessible throughout Indiana, or is it just a central Indiana thing?
It is actually all 50 states. It is like 911.
Excellent.
And so you said that's going to be active. It's not active yet, but in July of 2022?
Yes, it's going through all of the funding, as well as, just getting the whole program laid out. That takes a minute, but it will be available in July of 2022.
Excellent.
And I just want to give out a number that is available right now, the National Suicide Hotline. If you need someone to talk to right now, please call 1-800-273-TALK. Again, that is 1-800-273-8255. You can also text that crisis line. Just text IN to 741-741. You can text that or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline number at any time, day or night. Someone will be willing to talk to you. They are ready and waiting to help you. And so Tammy, I kind of wanted to shift into talking about therapy and counseling, which can be a very daunting subject for people that, might be considering going, but they're kind of scared of going. Can you tell us what the benefits are of counseling and therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. So with counseling and therapy, the best way that I can think of it, I've actually attended myself, is to go through and think about a person that you can tell anything that is on your mind with absolutely no judgment. And not only that, that person is there to listen and to help you. So it is also giving yourself that self-care, not only to say those things and kind of get them off your chest, but to help you and guide you to get you the help that you need.
And if I'm going to therapy for the first time, is it okay for me to go and visit different therapists if I don't feel like I'm connecting or I'm not getting the services I need?
Absolutely. I always encourage everybody to be your own advocate. And if you can't be your own advocate, bring somebody with you that can help you. But you want to make sure that the person that you're talking to, that you connect with. Not everybody connects with the first therapist that they might work with. And you might even see a therapist that you thought you were connecting with, but maybe you're not going in the same direction. So it's not only just in the very beginning, but as you're going through therapy, you might outgrow your therapist and have to look again. But know that it is a good thing that you do have the opportunity. You don't have to stay with the first therapist that you meet. You do have opportunities to go to somebody else or to interview somebody else to make sure that they're a good fit for you and that you feel that they're helping you take care of your mental health.
I think that that's really important. Something you just said stuck out to me. Interview a therapist. So essentially, we can kind of shop around and talk to different therapists before actually booking that appointment.
Yes.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah. So in a way, a lot of times you can call into a therapy office and you can ask questions. What is your specialization? It's not that you usually get to do like a one-on-one with the therapist, but you can shop around and interview to make sure that they're going to meet your needs. If you have a certain trauma in your life, or if you might have an eating disorder, or you can make sure that the therapist that you are meeting with from the get-go actually does treat what you're looking for help on or help with.
Excellent. Should people start expecting big changes? Should it be after the first therapy session? Does it take time? How does that journey kind of look?
It can take time. I think if you find somebody that you connect with immediately, you can feel a little immediate sense of relief, at least to just have that step taken and made. But it does take time. And when you do see a therapist, you do have homework. So, there's things, as you talk about things, there might be something that's asked of you to do for basically your homework. Maybe if you are having problems in social situations, they might encourage you to do something that's a little bit out of the box for you. And that's your homework for the week, or to document why you didn't want to participate in that activity. Really watching what your mental health is doing through the week, and sometimes having to take action on it. And it is retraining your brain to do things a little bit differently and to think about situations a little bit differently sometimes.
You said that you might leave therapy with homework, and that's something I've never really thought about. You don't just go to therapy, spill your thoughts, and expect to be better. There's homework attached to that, and putting in the work outside of going to therapy. And something that I think people kind of stray away from therapy is that there's like this big myth that you lay on a couch and just talk about your feelings, and all you hear back is, well, how do you feel about that? What would you say to somebody who kind of has this stigma that there's this therapy myth?
Yeah, it should be an interactive type of thing. That seems very frustrating. That's like you're working it out yourself. And a therapist helps guide you to make you feel better, and to guide you to look at things in a different way, or to guide you to figure out what might be causing that anxiety that you're feeling, or what's going on with your depression. And they are clinical doctors. So if you think about it in the fact that if you go to your doctor's office, they're not going to ask you, how does your broken toe, how does that make you feel, and expect that to heal it.
Yep.
And so something else we can do to kind of start creating that connection, that community, is to get out and maybe attend something that the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is doing, like the Out of Darkness Walk. Right, Tammy?
Yeah, we have our annual walk that's coming up, the largest one in Indiana. It's going to happen this Sunday at Celebration Plaza. It is at 9:30, and it's a very hopeful event. You will be able to go there, and you'll see people who are honoring the loss of a loved one. You'll see people who are struggling, and it's very hopeful. There's a band that's there. We offer resources, not only for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, but we bring in our community resources as well. So you can come down and you can get familiar with those. We are actually going to have Jack the donkey, and he's a therapy donkey. And so we've got activities that kids can do. We've got kits that we'll be giving away that Home Depot provides. There's a lot that you can do there, and it's a feeling of togetherness and hopefulness. I got involved with AFSP by going to my first walk. I lost my daughter in July of 2010, and I got a random flyer, and I don't know where it came from, but there was going to be a walk in September. And I decided to form a team. And it was probably it's the first step that I took for healing, because I felt like that there were people there that got it. They got me, they understood me. Suicide's very complicated. It's different from any other type of death that you might experience. So I would encourage anyone, whether you struggle, you support someone who struggles, you just support mental health in general. It's a absolutely great program and a great place to be.
And is there a place to register ahead of time before the event?
Yep, you can go to the afsp.org/Indiana page and follow our community walks. And it is the Indianapolis Out of the Darkness Walk.
Excellent. If I'm not able to make this walk, are there walks next spring that might be available to me?
Yeah, there's actually springs that are going on across the state as well. The Indianapolis Walk is the first walk in the fall, and then there's 13 others that go on across the state. And in the spring, we have all of our campus walks. So we have plenty of opportunities for you to participate in one of our events. So the way that you would go to afsp.org and follow the community walks to see what is available and when they're being held. And then for the spring campus walks, you would follow the link for the campus walks. They usually do not go up until January.
Okay.
Excellent.
So you said the Out of the Darkness Walk is happening this Sunday, the 12th at Celebration Plaza at 9:30 a.m. Are there also any other volunteer programs or opportunities that the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has that you want to share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 3 opportunities I'd like to talk to you about. So we actually have our volunteers, and you can go to afsp.org/Indiana and click on volunteers, and it will give you an opportunity to sign up for volunteering opportunities that we have in the community. So we do things like we have the walk. We also have the International Survivor of Suicide Loss Day. We do tablings. We do all sorts of things through the years, and we're always looking for volunteers. And then we also have our advocacy program, which can be as simple as you want it to be. If you go to our webpage and you click on advocacy, then what will happen is you'll be given the opportunity to register. And we do one thing that's great, where we'll send you emails if there are bills coming up for mental health awareness. We will send you those and it's one, you put in a little bit about your personal story and you hit send, and it goes to all your local state representatives. Super simple to do. And that's one of the ways that we got the 988 number. So we were a part of that. And then we also have a program, which is our loss and healing program. And if you know someone who has lost someone to suicide, what we will do is we will link them with somebody that has had the same type of loss, and set up a conversation with them so that they have somebody to talk to. And that can happen as early as you want after a loss or as late as you want after a loss. If you've not done it, I definitely would suggest to schedule a healing conversation with us.
Tammy, this was all really great information. I thank you so much for joining us today and sharing. If you do need someone to talk to, again, that National Suicide Hotline, you can call right now, 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. You can also text the crisis line. Just text IN to 741-741. And if you want to share this conversation with someone, we'll have it posted up at radionowindy.com, along with a list of resources that we talked about today. And we're also going to have that info for the Out of the Darkness walk that's happening on Sunday. Tammy, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you having us.
You are so welcome. And is there some social media information you can give out for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is www.afsp.org/Indiana, where you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at AFSP Indiana.
Excellent.
Great. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you.
Suicide Prevention Month is supported by Sandra Eskenazi Mental Health Center, where all clients are treated with dignity, confidentiality, and respect. For more info, call 317-880-8491 or visit eskenazihealth.edu.